Hello everybody. Today I'm bringing you a layout with these photos of my grandson helping his grandfather garden. And if you look at the photos closely, you see that he's actually wearing Grandpa's garden boots here. This is the second year in a row he's helping him garden. Last year he stole his hat. This year he stole the shovel and those boots. And that shovel, as you can see, is a little bit big for him, but he's at that age, he's 3, where he wants to do everything himself. So I'm using papers here from the Pink Paisley Paige Evans Fancy Free collection. I actually am using papers from the paper pad, but I did look up to see what the paper actual names are if you happen to have them in the 12 by 12. So the background of this is going to be that floral paper. I absolutely loved that paper and wanted to really feature it on a layout, so that's what I am doing here. And I decided I wanted the photos to go vertical so they sort of tell a timeline of what they are, and I happen to have that scrap of green paper and they fit almost perfectly on it, although I did want something to set that off even more from the background to highlight it. So I grabbed that, it's like a gray, really dark gray paper with the green lines. So the gray paper that I'm cutting right now with the green lines is paper 08. The green strip there with the diagonal lines is paper 07, and I just realized I called the floral paper paper 07 as well too. So I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure which is which. One of the, either the green or the, actually I'm sorry, they are both paper 07 because they're the A and B side of that paper. So the floral paper's paper 07, the green paper's paper 07, and the gray lined paper is paper 08. So I thought about using this very old sheet of Fabrics from Studio Calico with this. The colors are perfect, and I'm kind of looking at how I'm going to use those on this paper. And I thought about tucking them underneath, but as I looked at it, I didn't want another border there. I really liked the darkness of the gray against the white background of that floral paper. Plus, if I had used another layer there, I think it would have taken up even more of the floral paper, and I really wanted that to be on show, as Shamel says. One of the other things I wanted to do here was use up some of these chipboard pieces from a Bella Boulevard sheet, and that's what I am doing here. So I'm working really hard. I think I have one piece left on those, the sheet there. So the circle there at the top that says True Story, and the XOXO circle with the heart there that I had pulled are both from the Chow Chip Hearts and Stars collection. Just so that you know that as you're going. And then I grabbed this card here. It's from a cut apart, and it says Favorite Memories. That is from the Fancy Free collection as well. And the paper is paper 01. That's the cut apart sheet in that collection. So now I am having a hard time doing math. Massage therapist shouldn't do math, I guess. I'm trying to get these photos fairly even and using my ruler to do it. I don't use my ruler all that often. You will see me every so often do it. And just a little aside here, you could see writing on the back of that middle photo, and that is how I keep track of the dates of photos. Once I print photos almost immediately after I take them, if I can, because it helps me figure out what I want to scrapbook. And then I mostly print them in 4x6 sizes, but sometimes when I have little ones like this, I'll do them in 3x4 or other sizes, sometimes collages. So anyway, that's a little aside, and I just use a slick writer that I have from scrapbook.com on that. I decided I wanted to take up some more space above that Favorite Memories card. I was originally thinking about journaling on the Favorite Memories card and then decided against it. And so I grabbed that tag from the Fancy Free tags. That they're actually a group of embellishments, or a pack of embellishments that are tags. So I grabbed those, and originally I had it on the top, and then I've moved it to the bottom. but I'm still looking for things to add in, embellishments to add into that grouping on the side there. So I'm kind of playing around with what I want to do there. I looked at a circle because so much of what I'm using are straight lines, but I didn't like that particular circle. And I grabbed some of these circles here that I cut it from one of the sheets of paper. That one says "Yeah Buddy" on it, and that is from the Fancy Free Collection Paper 03. And I will eventually use that "Yeah Buddy" circle. I just haven't done it yet. So now as I'm working with these circles, I'm thinking, I kind of like the way this looks. And I take the journaling tag and put it back at the top there. And now I really like the way that's coming together with the "Yeah Buddy" and then that little chipboard piece there, because the chipboard piece is giving it some dimension. And I'm playing now with some other pieces from the chipboard sheet, which actually that arrow I decided wasn't going to work, and it doesn't make it on the layout. It was yellow, and there's no yellow on this layout. I did grab that acrylic heart from the Fancy Free Ephemera collection, or ephemera pack. I keep saying collection today, from the ephemera pack. So that's going to go on there. And I'm just trying to figure out what else I'm going to do here. Am I going to add any more embellishments? The one thing I do know though is some of that cluster is getting lost against the background paper because it's so busy. So I grabbed my Stays On ink because that, and I just pointed to that tag there, it has a slick surface, so I have to use Stays On or the ink won't stay on. So I just use Stays On everything. I have this big pad, and I might as well use the ink up before it goes bad. The other thing too is I'm going to ink that heart, which is acrylic, so that needs Stays On as well if I'm going to do it. And now I'm just going to finish cutting out that "Yeah Buddy" circle. And the other thing is that was really getting lost into the background because it's the same color as some of those flowers are. And with the little bit of ink on it, it really helps define those edges. So you can see how that looks now. There'll be a close-up at the end of this, so you'll be able to see that if you want to see what it looks like. I am still thinking that I need at least one more embellishment cluster, and I'm not quite sure where that's going to go right now in the process, but I'm thinking it has to go somewhere along the photos there. So in just a minute you'll see how I solve that. But it'll give you something to think about as you're looking. There's that hearts and stars. Like I said, I think I have one little tiny piece left. I'm scrapbooking other photos right now, but I really need to just put that somewhere so that I can get it used up. So as you saw there, I grabbed I've got that geo tag there, and that is also a Bella Boulevard Chow chip sheet. It's the symbols sheet, and that's going to form the basis of the other cluster that I was looking for, and that's going to go on the bottom there. So I started out with putting the 3 pieces of chipboard in each cluster. Now, when I cluster, because I think that's always a big question for people, I don't necessarily put the exact things in each cluster, but I try to base it on either some colors that are similar to pull them together or a type of embellishment. In this case, I have chipboard in each of the clusters to pull them together. Actually have chipboard, and then I'm starting to grab some of those puffy stickers, and a puffy sticker will go in each of those clusters. So in this particular case, I did grab a camera puffy sticker. I pulled the dude puffy sticker for the bottom one, and then I have that little tiny flower up on the chipboard that says True Story. So that I now have like elements in those clusters. So I'm pretty happy with the way these look right now. I still think the cluster with the journaling block and the favorite things cut apart needs something else. I'm not quite sure what that's going to be, but I will solve that in the end. In the meantime, while I'm thinking about it, I decided to do the title. And I know I want it to be Helping Bumpa Garden because my grandson calls his grandpa Bumpa. You know, it started when he couldn't really say grandpa, and it's just stuck, even though now he can properly say grandma or grandpa because he actually does call me grandma. He actually calls me Grandma Kelly. But so he could actually say Bumpa, but it's sort of stuck as a little nickname for him. And what I did, I was looking at that Fitzgerald alphabet or this other alphabet, which is the hipster alphabet. It's a chipboard alphabet from, I think it was in one of the Chamel collections, but the hipster font in black. And I decided I wanted to do the hipster font because it's a little bit wider. I liked the fact that it wasn't quite so tall. I wanted something squattier. And so I decided on this alphabet. The one problem this creates now, though, is the G in garden is actually hanging out kind of a little bit in the middle of nowhere. Not completely, but it's a little bit off that tag. So I like my stuff to rest on things. And so I'm looking at how do I take up and fill some of that space. So I'm working with, you know, more of the pieces in the die cuts, and I'm not finding that. You know, I did add the little stars in from the hipster collection to that bottom cluster on the right and to the cluster I'm working with now. But none of that seems to be working. Those puffy stickers, by the way, are from the Amy Tangerine Better Together collection. And they're called puffy stickers. So I found this other puffy sticker that says, "Love this." And when I put that on, it took up enough space that I was happy with it, and I just moved the camera over a little bit so that it looks like at least the word garden, that G in the word garden, has a little bit more space to rest on, which, you know, that's just a pleasing thing to my eye. So now I'm going to glue down that acrylic heart, and I just hid the glue under my ATG glue under the chipboard. You know, if I hadn't done that, I could have stapled it on, or I do have some vellum glue that you don't see as much of, but I don't love it as much. So I knew I wanted the Helping Bumpa to be a little bit smaller. And I went back to my October afternoon mini markets, and that is the mini market in chalk and slate. That's the colorway for this. I don't remember what collection it came from. It might have come from Silent Night, which was their Christmas collection last year or the year before. I've taken now to writing the collection on the mini markets if I know what it is, just to help you find it a little bit more, but or a little bit easier to find it. So when I do this, I almost always line these up on my wax paper because it really helps me get some placement for the title there, especially since I'm not resting it on a shelf per se, an actual, you know, line of paper or something like that. So getting the first letter positioned properly is a huge thing because if you don't get it properly positioned, they're just going to go off and they'll be really crooked. You can correct them a little bit, but that help by overlapping, but I prefer not to do that. So I got those on pretty quickly after I put them on the wax paper. That was a great Mercy Tier thing. So what I'm doing there is I'm showing you my scrapbook.com slick writer there because of that slick surface on the journaling card. And I am just going to journal a little bit about these photos to my grandson. I journal like I'm talking to him. I think that'll be a kind of a cool way for him to read these layouts. And he also has another little brother. So whenever I journal on a page, I often journal like I'm talking to somebody. I'm just about finished. At the end will be a still shot of this layout and a couple of detail shots. Hope you are all well and having a great summer. Take care. Bye.